Hey everybody, welcome back to the Engineered Angler. Today I'm going to do something very different. I'm taking an inspiration from Marling Baits, another lure builder. I'm sure you guys all know who he is. And he does something where he challenges himself to do a one-day build and then go fishing and catch a fish. Now I have to admit, I'm really intimidated by this. He makes it look easy, I think. And I tend to be kind of slow and plodding when I'm building a lure. So hopefully we'll get this done and I'll get it done on time. I want to make a minnow crankbait, but a broken back minnow crankbait. That's one with a joint in the middle. So I'm getting started kind of late. It's 10:06, August 1st. Let's get going. All right, here's the design. It's really simple and straightforward, very bullet shaped. It's gonna be 5 inches long. I'm gonna put the break right at 5 3/4 inches, so it'll be just a little more than half the distance from the front.
And the thickest part will be 5/8 of an inch.
We'll put a dive lip up here at about 45 degrees. And we'll have the typical arrangement of hook eyes, just two. The only difference here is I'm not going to make a blunt joint. I'm going to make this joint be a socket
and a ball, and that should hide the hinge hardware. Well, we've run into our first problem in this build, and that is the mic went bad. We'll be making the lure out of this dowel. It's a 1-inch dowel and it's hardwood, and we'll be shaping it on the lathe. Here I'm marking where I want the fat spot, that 5/8 thickness, and I'm checking it with the calipers. And now we hit problem number 2. Good thing we have the shape mostly done, and I can mount it in the chuck and we can refine it from there. We can get the rest with sandpaper, starting with 60 grit, moving up grit from there. Back in the lure shop to work in some details. We'll cut in the slot with this fine blade and then come back and widen it with these 2 hacksaw blades glued together. Time to split the lure. Shaping a ball end takes a little bit of patience. Little by little, you can get it to look pretty good. Putting in the screw eyes, just a matter of shoving it in, putting a drop of crazy glue in, and then giving it a shot of accelerator, and then repeat.
Alright, after applying a really thin coat of white paint on this and giving it a very light sanding with really fine sandpaper, I'm ready to apply a really thin coat of UV resin. The idea is to get as smooth a surface as possible to paint on. Alright, I'm off to have some lunch. Hopefully I'll still have time to finish this thing before the end of the day. Alright, lunch is over. Alright, this is looking pretty good. I'm going to give them a very light sanding, wipe them down with alcohol, and then we'll go to the booth and get this thing painted. And I think I'm going to go with like an old school paint job to go with this kind of lure. And maybe have like really obnoxious looking vertical stripes on it and everything, so we'll see. Alright, first, let's give it a real coat of white paint. Alright, it's time to put the bib on. I was hoping I had a round-ended one still around, but I don't, so I'm going with this semi-square, and I'm going to glue it in with some UV resin. Alright, so that's kind of like what it's going to look like. Looks like a weird bug. And by now you guys are probably wondering why I didn't add any weight to it. And I just think that the added hardware and the hooks I'm going to put on it, and the fact that this is a dense wood, is going to allow me to go without any weight. I hope that works. But it's 3 o'clock. So by 4 o'clock, 4:15, these things should be set, ready to assemble. So I should be able to be out in the water by 4:30 and have maybe 2 or 3 hours before dark to try to catch fish. All right, it's about 4:15. I'm hoping these things are good and hard. I kind of like the way this looks. It's got a kind of an old school look to it. Now, truth be told, I've never made a joint like this. This is just something that occurred to me one night while I was playing around with my other lures, and I just can't stop myself from experimenting. Although I should probably not do it on camera. But hopefully this works.
I made the hinge links out of these two pre-made screw-in eyes, and I'll install them by first screwing in the one that goes into the head part, and then I'll screw in the tail after that one's in. I'll put a drop of crazy glue just like before, and then I'll drive it in the rest of the way. And then it's just a matter of screwing in the tail, giving it its crazy glue, and making sure that the dark part on the top aligns with the dark part of the front of the lure.
So, awkward? Unorthodox? Yes. Finished? Yes. It's 4:26. That means we got maybe 3 hours. So now I have to make a decision. Do I go out on my own lake, a small overfished lake, or do I go out on big Lake Santa Fe, a huge overfished lake? I don't know. Going here is just a walk down to the dock. Going there, I've got to hook up the boat. What would you guys do? Heck, let's go to Lake Santa Fe. Right. This thing has a very odd action. Alright, so it's like 8:20 now, or 8:30, and I tried my best to catch a fish. We're looking over my shoulder at all the lightning coming down just south of me. All in all, I was pretty impressed with this thing. This is the first time I've ever made a joint like this, and I didn't know what to expect, but I certainly didn't expect the action that I got out of it. It's a lot more erratic than I thought it would be. Well, I finished it in time to go fishing, but I guess I just didn't meet the challenge. Oh well, the fish just didn't know how much it meant to me, I guess. So if anybody out there attempts one of these ball and joint connections on a lure, let me know if the action is as weird as this one is. Alright, well that does it for this build. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy this kind of video, give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I'll see you guys next Friday.